Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to edit a moody cinematic image using this photo. I'm going to show you how I took it from here to here. Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is me, Iamtongue, and today we are going to do an editing video with a Fujifilm X100V raw file. This was submitted by a photographer by the name of Jack Ross. Now, he is a Fuji X shooter and I do follow him, and I think he just does amazing work when it comes to street photography and when it comes to street photography in Vietnam. He is currently in Vietnam right now, and that's one of the reasons why I followed him, because my background is Vietnamese. I have family in Vietnam, and whenever I visit Vietnam, I just get so excited because I love the country, I love the food. Vietnam was one of the countries I visited when I first owned the Fujifilm X-T2. So that's why there's a lot of fond memories with Vietnam and with my Fujifilm. Over the pandemic, you know, we weren't able to travel, right? So what I would do was I would binge watch all the Vietnam content that I could. I watch a lot of travel videos. I love when I see different perspectives on Vietnam. I love watching food videos of Vietnam, like any type of food tours. I love it when photographers come and then show their perspective on Vietnam. And I know that Jack Ross has a very unique perspective when it comes to Vietnam. So that's why we're editing his photo right here. It's an amazing photo. It looks super dope with the smoke in the background. I already see where this is going. We're gonna get started, and I'm just gonna take you along and show you my process, how I would edit this raw photo. So first things first, we see that everything is in the shadows. You can see by the histogram that all the information is by the left. That's where he exposed for the highlights, right? So what we're going to do is we're gonna just push the shadows as far as we can. I think with this edit, I'm going to do a cinematic edit because of the smoke and the fire and the silhouette of, I assume this is a farmer or a Vietnamese local. And we're gonna do that with the Eterna film simulation profile. So, and that's one thing I love about Fujifilm, right, that I don't get in my Sony, is the film simulations really do help speed up the workflow and my process of editing. Like once I put that on, it's just like boom, it's so easy to edit. Whereas with my Sony raw files, I'm just like, I'm constantly editing, I'm constantly putting a little bit more effort than I would like on an image. It still turns out good, but then with Fujifilm raw files, it's so easy to get there. So we're gonna get started right now. I'm just going to do my thing, and I'm just gonna bring up my exposure a little bit, you know, to get some details back into the trees and the forest. I think here is good. We just saw all the information go to the right, and I think this is more balanced. Let's see what else we're gonna do. I'm going to lift up the shadows a little bit so we can see some details in the trees and the forest. And again, look at this image, man. It's so fucking dope. Just like you get this mysterious man. I think he's the one that's lighting the fires in the forest, and it's just a fucking silhouette. And he shot this at 3.2 ISO 400, 1/500 of a second. My method, honestly, is I go based on what looks good. Like there's never any set rules to this. Back in the day when I first started, I would always do, let's just say I would boost the clarity and the vibrance and the saturation to a certain number. I would never change that number. It was always that number. Once I started to improve, right, I let go of that rule because I realized that these rules don't look good in all situations. It's always a situational basis. Every shot is different. My settings that I say for this won't work on different lighting scenarios or anything like that, right? So just be mindful of that. So you really have to know what you're doing, and you have to be very intentional. And let's see what we can do with the whites. See, you already have like clip whites over here. So what we are going to do is just pull that back and then pull back the highlights a little bit. I kind of like it clipped out a little bit. And then we're gonna go to the blacks, and then we're just gonna crush the blacks a little bit because I really like that grittiness to it. We are going to do an S-curve, the local S-curve. You don't have to do it a lot. I tend to make a subtle S-curve. Yeah, look at that contrast right there. And then we're gonna play around with the colors right here. Ooh, teal smoke, don't mind if I do. So usually I go over the hue and the HSL slider, and I follow color theory, right? So, you know, there's monochromatic and complementary colors. If you understand that as a color theory, you can actually make your photos pop out even more. If you want to take your photography to the next level, be intentional with the colors that you have in your photos. Always try to make it complement one another. That's about it. That's what I usually do, and I usually go for the orange and teal look, blues in my shadows, and I put like orange in the midtones, you know, just to give it some separation, and it always looks good. So we're gonna continue on. I'm just gonna slide my sliders around, see what other colors there are. See, I'm just going to make the purple blue a little bit. And then, let's see what, dial back the orange. Let's see the reds. There's nothing there, so I'm just gonna leave it. So before I do that, and luminance, I don't think we're gonna do anything with that. This is the secret sauce that I have, this color grading, okay? So what I like to do, put the blues, and because it's gonna be more of a artistic shot more than just like a natural, what you see in your photo, what you see in real life is what I'm trying to convey to you. This is just gonna be like straight up creative edit, you know, it's gonna be my flair and how I do things, okay? So you guys may have your way of doing it. This is just how I do things around here. And then we're gonna pull back the shadows a little bit more, make it more moody. And let's look at the light. Usually with this color grading, right, if I have blue here, I'm obviously going to try to look for, you know, I'm gonna try to keep it in like the same shade of blue, just so it could like sort of give that monochromatic look sometimes. So let's see if this looks good. And I find that, and then usually I just put this on full power, and then I just rotate it until I find what looks good to my eyes. And I find that I gravitate towards this right now. After I find the color that I like, I would just pull it back because you don't need that much. We just need a smidge. We don't need the whole lot. Let's see how that looks. Just something different. And then with the midtones, let's do the same thing. See, like the blue here's look good. The greens looks good. Putting it to red also looks good. Let's see, I think I'm gonna go with blue. This little cyan color right here. We don't need the whole lot. You just need like a little bit. There we go, like that. And if you go click this on and off to see, you can see the effects of it. That's before, and this is after. Already looking super cinematic, and there's just like a blue color grade that you see in Hollywood films. And after that, I would go to sharpening. I like to leave. This is again, this is also subjective. Some people say they like to leave sharpening a little bit off. I like to see sharpness in my photos sometimes, so this is my secret. I would just mask it until I find the right sharpening, which is like around 75 for me, and I keep it at 40. I just keep it at default, and then it just sharpens the edges for me, and this is what I want right here to be sharpened. put some vignetting on so that it focuses on the subject, and again, making it look super moody and super cinematic. That's the vibe that I'm going for. And then usually at the end of it, I play with the calibrations of the colors, see if I can do anything with it. And usually I like to dial my blue hue back a smidge, and then I put my greens that way, just a smidge. I am just about finished. I'm just gonna do some final touches. First off, I'm gonna go in here and then change it to Eterna, see how that looks. See, with Eterna right now, it just like lift up all the shadows, and that's not what I want. Probably just leave it like this, because this is the image that came to mind. But we're gonna go with Eterna, and then we're just gonna mess some things up if you want. I feel, this is just me speculating, I don't know the science to this, but I just feel that when you put on a film simulation, and you know, if you edit everything correctly and it looks good, then somehow that film simulation is going to give you that extra layer that just makes your photos look cinematic if you do it right. So that's why I always put on a film simulation, no matter if it's Classic Chrome or Provia or Eterna. One of them is what I'm gonna choose, and I'm never gonna choose like Adobe Color or Standard. And I think that looks good to me. Let's check out the before and after. And let's see what else I can do to make this like super moody. I can also go to select subject, and then Adobe Lightroom now it's just updated. It does this so freaking well, but that's not what we want. We're gonna invert it. We're gonna make them we're gonna make them pop out more. So what we're going to do is lower the exposure a little bit, so that way the subject will have more separation from the background. So it just gives it a little pop. And if you want, you can always color grade the background a little bit, make it super blue if you want, or you can make it like green. So, you know, there's a lot of things there's a lot of ways you can like take this image, right? But we're just gonna keep it more realistic, I think, maybe. Or like, you know, we can use the hue saturation and just change the whole color. Like, how fucking cool is that? So we can get like totally different fog colors right now. This is how I always edit my photos. It's always about experimenting for me. So there's never a right way to do anything. It's just how the end product is gonna look. So always experiment with everything. Hopefully I explained that well enough here, or you following along through my process and how I would edit. You can take something out of it. And from there, I think I'm like totally done. We can see the before and after. That's pretty dope, huh? Maybe we can move the exposure up a little bit. And I think that looks fucking dope as fuck. We're gonna give it a 16:9 treatment so we can get the cinematic look. And it looks something like this. That looks fucking fire, dude. What do you guys think? Is it good? I think it's good, right? But there you have it. That's how I would edit this, and that's how I would give it a moody cinematic feel to it. It's all about how you approach things and how you see things when you take the image. But yeah, overall, I'm like super stoked about this image. I hope you guys are too. I'm gonna show you guys the before and after right here. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments section below. Don't forget to follow me on my Instagram at Iamtongue. That's where you're gonna see a lot more of my work. And once again, my name is Tongue, and I'll see you in the next video. I love you. Okay, bye.